Okay, well, happy Saturday morning to you all. It's going to be a little different bike rotation routine for me this morning. I'm swapping the 500X for the Ryker that's sitting at the warehouse because I need to start my trip prep for Arkansas. So today is going to be the day that I pull the back end of the Ryker apart to get the rear wheel off of it, and hopefully Discount Tire is going to have my tire today. I don't know if they're gonna get it in on time. I ordered it on Monday. They said it was 3 to 4 days to receive it, and as of yesterday, close of business, Friday, they still didn't have it. So I hedged my bet and I ordered through Tire Rack, and hopefully the Tire Rack delivery will come in today or potentially Monday early, and I'll take that over to get the tire swapped out. I certainly hope that one of the tires shows up so I'm not just pulling the rear wheel off the Ryker for no reason. That would bum me out. So I'm going to start my bike prep and equipment loadout. It's not really going to be anything different than I normally do, but I'll be taking a little bit of extra hammock gear this time, and potentially some extra camera gear and electronics just to record the trip. Since I started recording and vlogging, a lot of this loadout has changed, so I'm always thinking about, okay, well, what extra gear do I need to bring to document the trip? Get the, extra batteries and camera gear and tripods, and there's a lot of extra back-end work. I need to tighten my little Allen screws on this thing. The wind pressure coming up underneath my RiderScan mirror is flipping it up. I noticed that on my last highway trip. I took off my tank bag, but normally I've got my little wrench kit in here. It's missing today. There it goes again. Wind pressure's lifting up. Anytime I get over about 75, it's lifting it. It's getting the crank down those little 5mm Allens. So I was thumbing around through YouTube this morning, just browsing around before I headed out, and YouTube fed me a new channel, Oregon Motorcycle Adventure. He lives up there, and man, he's got such a great riding area. He's got a CB500X Enduro one with the bigger 19-inch front wheel on it, and he does a lot of moto-camping and adventure riding and stuff like that on his CB500X. Oh, it's awesome. I envy you, sir. Great country to ride in. We're a little flat and boring down here in the southern U.S. That's why I've got to take road trips to Arkansas to find some nice scenery and twisty roads. It was funny, the video that I saw of his first was the one explaining his OCD mashing the button thing. I've been doing that since I got this bike. Honda, in their infinite wisdom, decided to wahoo the horn and signal buttons opposite everything else on the market. So every time I get on and off of this bike, and I've been riding other ones for a while, I'm forever hitting the horn when I'm trying to cancel the signal. A couple of my bikes, they use the same kind of switch gear right here. This is very common across a lot of the newer Hondas. They're a little stickier than others. This one's not so sticky, so normally when I hit this one to cancel, it cancels right away. My other ones, the PCXs and a couple of my other bikes, they're real sticky, so you got to mash the what out of that button to get it to cancel out. And sometimes I forget when I'm riding those other bikes, and I'm driving around the world to my left or whatever, and I look down and go, ah, crap, how long has that been on? So I cancel it out of motor memory every time I finish a corner or lane change or whatever, but if you don't really mash it, then it doesn't cancel. And I've gotten in the habit on most of those bikes is I double or triple cancel. So hit the OCD button here, OCD, OCD, OCD. It was funny. He was commenting that his viewers leave him questions and comments on the videos about what are you hitting over there? Why do you keep mashing the button? It's to make sure we're not riding around with it on. Now on this bike and a few of my others, I have that SMiDSY TSR-3 turn signal reminder as a beeper. I'll hit it when we get down to lower speeds. You probably heard it in previous videos, but it's a turn signal reminder that lets you know when your signal is flashing, and it really helps. It's great. Unfortunately, the company in the UK that manufactured and sold those, it was outlawed by the government somehow because they sounded too close to the pedestrian crosswalk beepers. So the government said, not for you. Can't get them anymore. The last time I bought them, I bought 3 or 4, and I've already deployed them on my bikes. I guess if I want any more of them, I'm just going to have to reclaim them from those bikes and put it on different ones. Can't get them. So if anybody knows where you can get those, SMiDSY. It's an acronym for Sorry Mate, I Didn't See You. They had the turn signal reminder, they had headlight modulators, they had a bunch of neat stuff. But the TSR-3 is the one that I'm trying to find. I'm looking at the sky. And there it goes again, slowly walking up. I've got to tighten up. I've been using these RiderScan mirrors for more than a decade. I love them, they're fantastic. And I had a lot of questions and comments about the sticky mounts and how well they stay. The first one that I got was for my 2004 Honda Silverwing. That's been on there for probably 10 or 12 years. And it has been a trooper. It's been stuck to the GV windscreen that I have very well, forever, never had a problem. Until just recently, about, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, my Silverwing is sitting in the warehouse, and apparently the heat in there and just, time, age, whatever, finally the adhesive let go, and I saw that it dropped down and it was sitting on the instrument cluster. So it took over 10 years for the adhesive to give up. It's pretty good. The video that, or video series, I guess, that really gave me the most questions about these RiderScan mirrors is the Ryker, because it's just right there, very prominent right in front of you on the Ryker's forward view, and a lot of people were asking me about that. What is that? Where do I get one? How does it work? Yeah, so the RiderScan takes a little getting used to understand the view and get comfortable with it as a motor memory, be able to decipher it in a quick glance, because of the double compound view on it, or convex I should say. Compound convex, I guess would be the way to describe it. So it's convex this way and it's convex this way, and you can see everything. I mean, I can see 180 degrees, full 90 degrees to each side. So there's cars going by in the parking lot over there, and he is 90 degrees off to my starboard. So yeah, it gives a very wide field of view, and it keeps people from hiding in your flank when you can't see them. Like, I don't know if you can see in the camera's angle right now. Oops. So I don't know if you can see in the camera's angle right now, but under my arm right here and over my shoulder, I can't see those out of my periphery, and I can't see those in the side mirrors. So the RiderScan fills all of this void around your body if you've got it aimed properly, and it really helps. You can see everything on the road without ever taking your eyes off of your forward view, because you're shifting your vision just a few degrees up, down. It's right there. So you're still tracking forward threads, which is the most important thing. So here's the turn signal reminder. It has a light dink, dink, dink. Now I'll leave it running after this turn, and then it goes into a much louder trill if you leave it on more than 20 blinks. Rudder out now, I think. Oh, where? There it is. delete, delete, delete. So you can hear that trill even at freeway speed, 65, 70 miles an hour. And I've got earplugs in and a very quiet helmet, and I can still hear that. So it helps you remember, oh yeah, my signal's on. And from a safety perspective, you know, on the highway, not as big a deal. In town, that's a really big deal because people, if they're reading your intentions properly, you know, they're expecting you to be turning. If your signal is on, they'll pull out in front of you, not realizing that you've just accidentally left your signal on. So it's a big deal. In the testimonials and the whole marketing literature on that SMiDSY unit, it was, you know, dual meaning on the sorry mate I didn't see you or sorry mate I did see you, because if you're signaling a turn and you're not turning, then you're putting yourself into a situation that could be bad. Same thing goes if you turn without signaling. Anyway, it's kind of moot. Can't get those things anymore. Move my lever position. If it was my son or my toddler was playing with it. That's better. Been fighting with the clutch engagement all morning. It's like, wait, it's way out there, like all the way at the very tip. It's funny how little motor memory and mechanical adjustments make such a huge difference. You get used to something being exactly where it is, and you make that same motion tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of times, whatever it is, and just a tiny little change in it, and you're like, well, wait, that's different. I have so many different bikes, and I rotate through them, so I'm used to being fairly adaptive in my motor memory, but for any given machine, I kind of have that preset in my head of where it's supposed to be. Okay, well, I have arrived. I'm gonna do the swaparoo here and get the Ryker out, and then I have to go home and start clearing out my garage to make room for that surgery. Pull the rear wheel and rear lighting cluster off of it. Can't do the rear fender, but yeah, anyway. So, I'll catch you in a little bit. Okay, well, continuing where I left off. It's time for this thing to go home and get torn apart. Take off the pannier, obviously. I don't know if I need to pull off the pannier support or not. We're going to find out. And then pull the rear wheel. Not sure if I have to pull the rear fender and fender support off. I'll look through the service manual and see if that's the case. But according to one of the other members in the Oklahoma Red Dirt Rikers group on Facebook that did this on his rally, he said that Discount Tire was able to take the wheel off of his. He just took them in the socket and they did everything, but they did have to dismount the brake rotor, so I might just go ahead and do that preemptively just to get it out of the way. So off we go. Ugh. Oops. So the plans are head out of Houston area on Tuesday morning, probably the earlier the better. Adrian is going to be going up there with me, most likely on his Super Cub. I don't know if he's going to change his mind and decide to ride one of my other bikes, but the Super Cub is just fine with me. We'll just go slow. I'll tootle along at 55, 60 all the way up there on the back highways, and just have a leisurely ride up to McKinney, and then we'll stay overnight there. And I might meet up with a couple of other, or one or two other riders, subscribers of the channel that live kind of up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I mentioned that I was going to be coming through there and hit them up on Instagram and see what their schedule looks like. And then Tuesday night we're staying there in McKinney. Wednesday morning I get up early, ride over to Tyler to Broadway Power Sports, have them do the alignment and front tires on this guy. Hopefully the rear tires are going to be done. And then from there, when they finish up with it around noon or 1 or whatever it is, we head north to Oklahoma. And we'll stay overnight Wednesday night and head out early Thursday morning from the Oklahoma City area down to Tallahena, and then Tallahena on through the Talamina Drive into Mena, Arkansas. And that'll put us right in at Queen Wilhelmina State Park. That'll be a pretty full day. So the plans could change slightly, but that's the rough itinerary for now. It would obviously be easier for Adrian and I to meet Nick in Tallahena instead of going all the way up to Oklahoma City, but I think it'll be good to get up there and just hang out for an evening. We've got a hotel reserved, and have dinner and goof off in the Oklahoma City area for the evening, and then head out early Thursday morning. So the Ryker has auto-canceling signals. Watch this. See, turn itself off. I've tried not to get accustomed to that because none of my other bikes have it. And I've noticed that when I ride this one around for a few days and I start relying on that auto-cancel feature, then I'll get on my other bikes and, oh crap, I'm riding around the world with my right and we're turning off the signal. So the weather in Arkansas is supposed to be pretty chilly in the overnights. We're going to get down into the high 40s, low 50s, it looks like. So it's great camping weather. A little chilly, but I'm going to be taking my Sierra Madre Ninox kit, potentially my Stratos. I don't know which one. I'll figure it out. And my Inferno overquilt and underquilt set. So I'm going to be way toasty, probably toastier than I need to be. I'll also take my tent conversion kit for that, so in case I need to set up on the ground, I can do it. I'm going to be taking a couple of extra hammocks to give to Nick. He's trying to get into the hammock camping game, and he doesn't have any gear, so he's been searching around, and he was talking about getting a hammock Roo double, which is a good hammock, but there's no bug net, obviously. You got to add a bug net. So I told him I'd bring the Roo, let him play with that, just so he doesn't have to invest in it for nothing. If it doesn't suit him, you know. I've got so many extra hammocks and all kinds of gear, just stuff that I buy and try, and it doesn't work out for me, or I move on to something bigger and better, and the original stuff just sits around. It'll be interesting to compare the fuel stats on how much it costs Adrian to ride all the way up there to Oklahoma and Arkansas versus me on the Ryker. The Cub is so efficient, you know, it's at full tilt boogie, it's still getting 100 miles to the gallon. So if we're running at 55 to 60, it's going to be probably 115, 120 miles to the gallon. I don't know that I've ever run this one consistently that low of a speed, so it'll do better than it normally does, which is down, you know, between 29 and 31 miles to the gallon. But I'm betting I don't see more than 35 to 36 out of it. So that means the little Super Cub is going to be doing almost 3.5, 4 times as good on fuel economy. He's going to spend $20 round trip like I did last time on mine. And this one it's going to be $120. I'll have to swap with Adrian along the trip and ride his Cub, because now he's got the I can't remember which Puig it was. I'm pretty sure it's the Puig, but it's the tall touring screen on his Cub. So I'll bet that makes quite a difference in, you know, air pressure on the chest and noise and all that. I don't know what it's going to do for the economy because it's a pretty big screen, but it ought to make touring pretty comfy. I'm eager to get my grubby little hands on the Aprilia RS 660. The rumors say because it's throttle by wire and all the other advanced controls and stuff on it, that it's going to have cruise control, which is awesome for a middleweight sports bike. I don't know if it's included standard or if it's an add-on, but I've never had a bike with automatic cruise control with ride-by-wire. All my big touring bikes that I've had over the years, and sport touring machines and all that, they didn't have throttle-by-wire and no cruise control. Now, obviously, on the bigger Gold Wings, the new ones, they're cruise control, for the last handful of years. And even in the old ones, you could retrofit an automotive-type cruise control down on your throttle linkage and everything. And a lot of guys did that. I thought about it, but I just didn't want to tear into it. So I always use these friction locks. But yeah, that'll be pretty cool to have a bike with full electronic cruise control. That'll be a new one for me. I need to go over to Harbor Freight today and buy a half-inch torque wrench that goes up to 221 pounds or above. I found a nice Icon digital that I'll probably get. And it goes up to 250 foot-pounds, so it's not cheap. I haven't had a good digital in a while. I had a bunch of Snap-on equipment way back yonder that someone decided they wanted a whole lot more than me, and they stole all my tools. And when I say all my tools, I mean all my tools. $50,000 worth of tools. Gone. I was not real happy about that. So from that point forward, I've just been buying cheaper tools. None of it's really cheap, but Harbor Freight specials and the occasional Sears hardware store for craftsman stuff and generic hardware store items, but I haven't gotten any pricey tools in a while. I haven't been doing my engine teardowns and rebuilds and all the heavy racing stuff that I used to do. I've done that in probably 20 years now since I got married and kids came along, so I haven't really needed all that stuff, but I'm going to start acquiring some of that again. I still haven't gotten my welding kit and all that I wanted to play with there at the warehouse. I need to do that now that the weather is cooling off a little bit. In the fall and winter, there'll be good pastime there at the warehouse, I think. Clean things up, reorganize, and start doing some more metalworking projects. It's a little hot in the summertime in that warehouse because I don't have air conditioning, HVAC out there. Just my little front office area is air conditioned. I'm going to teach myself to weld. Just get on YouTube and start watching a bunch of tutorial videos, and there are a few welding academies and that sort of thing that have paid courses on YouTube and Patreon and stuff like that. I might go that route. I've thought about doing the community college thing a few times and just go there, but there's always something in the way. And now with COVID, all the classes are messed up and extra restrictions and regulations and all that. I just don't have time to fart about that. I just want to learn it and do it. And I don't care about credit hours and all that. I've already got a degree and a career and all that. I'm not interested in the academia bit of it. I'm interested in the applied science. I remember the last time I tried to sign up for one of the community colleges. Now, mind you, this is paying them to take a class from them. And they were putting me all through all kinds of hoops, Oh, well, we need your transcripts. We need this. We need that. No, I want to pay you to take the class. How about that? No, we have to have your transcripts. All right, we'll see you later. Mood for that. Come on. I was in my mid-40s at that time. I'd been out of school for over 20 years. Well, out of college, let's say. I've had plenty of vocational and industry certs along decades, but as far as going to school for a grade, that kind of thing, haven't done that in 20 years, and they're like, oh, well, we got to have all your transcripts, we got to have this, we got to have that. How about you take my money and I take the class? Seems like a fair trade. Leave all the bullshit behind. So needless to say, that didn't work out for me. I have no patience for red tape and BS. Coop. So the other thought that I had on the welding, and also, you know, access to all the advanced tools to do some of the advanced projects that I want to do, you know, body work and custom fabrication and all kinds of crazy stuff. Maker spaces. I started looking into those, and there are quite a few of them here in the greater Houston area. The only problem is they're all far downtown, you know, not anywhere close to me, but that's, you know, that's a trade-off. I could do that. I need to look into a few of those, and they've got really fancy tools. You know, they've got all kinds of CAD, CAM, you know, lathe equipment, 3D, 4D, 5D axis, milling machines, everything you can imagine. So I would not mind paying for access to one of those maker spaces and then get into a, you know, a mentor-led type arrangement where they show me how to use the stuff. Cool. Because then I could have access to all that equipment and not have to buy it, you know. 3D printers and some low-end 3-axis, 4-axis milling machines are not horribly expensive these days, but still expensive. We're talking a couple $1,000 at least. Get into really fancy stuff. It's much more expensive, much quicker. Yeah, so I think when I get back from my Arkansas trip, it's going to be at the top of my to-do list. Well, besides work, obviously. Work is stacking up, but I'm going to dig into the maker spaces here in the area and find out what it takes to get signed up. What kind of training and mentoring options they have, because I've already got the project ideas in my head. I know what I want to do. I just need to figure out the best way to accomplish it. The few projects that I'm really interested in doing are going to involve a little bit of FEA and stuff like that, proper CAD CAM and SolidWorks type modeling to do properly. And I can teach myself those skills the hard way, slowly, at home, on the editing station. But I would much rather jumpstart that and have somebody show me what I'm doing and not waste a whole lot of time. Okay, well, home again, and it's time to clean out the garage a little bit, make some room, move the cars around probably, and tear the rear wheel off this thing, because I got a notice. You gonna howl? Come on, howl! Howl! Come on! Arr! Come on! Nope! Arr! You're not gonna bark for me. You're not gonna howl? Come on! Come on! Oh, good girl. Thank you. Anyway, I got a notice from UPS that my tire should be delivered from Tire Rack today before 1:30 p.m. That's awesome. We're talking one-day delivery. I ordered it yesterday, and it's already going to be here next day, and I didn't pay for next day shipping. It was free shipping. I ordered from Tire Rack Monday, and it's still not here. What the? You think a tire shop could get it quicker than me, huh? Anyway. Catch y'all later. Ruff. Ruff. Ruff.